Good morning. Hope everyone is doing well, staying warm on this very rainy, cool morning for, I think, most of the Northeast and maybe some of the middle part of the country. I'm thankful for great shelter, warmth, and comfortable ruby ribbon clothing. I'm wearing the turtleneck Luxe sweater this morning. It was the first thing I threw on when I jumped out of my warm blankets and felt the cold nip my body. We're here already more than halfway past this very special Heart Health Month, where we at Ruby Ribbon Cares are partnering with the American Heart Association to create awareness, education, and also raise some money for the American Heart Association, as well as any local causes that focus on heart health. And along with that, in a little bit, God willing, Miss Sheila Caldwell is going to be with us to discuss the connection between a mammogram and what that means for women's heart health. I find that very, very interesting. And I see that Juanita Hernandez is with us, and it's nice to see you, Juanita. Thank you for watching. But while we wait for Sheila, I want to share some of the work that we've been doing at Ruby Ribbon. This weekend was what we call Feel the Love Weekend, and we paired that with a great flash sale, which a lot of people took advantage of. And even if you didn't take advantage of it, it's okay, because we have all sorts of opportunities for women to make up their own flash sale. As you can probably see in the background, there's a red ruby ribbon demiette, and you can see behind it a little bit longer, a blush pink color of the full cami. We have, there's also a blush pink demiette, lace demiette with a red longer cami that you can see in the background. So we still have some amazing specials with ruby ribbon camis and demiettes and all sorts of great things that you can take advantage of. And as a hostess, you can accumulate rewards where you can get your own choices of products free, 50% off, and 75% off. So for that, I'd love for you to comment and let me know that you're interested, and then I can tell you more about how we can make that happen. But for now, I want to invite you. I'm adding Sheila to the camera, and when she finally does get on, I want you to feel free to ask her questions, share this video with any of your friends. And here is Sheila. This is a forum, so please invite your girlfriends and share this, because Sheila has dedicated her life to this cause, and I so admire her, and she is here for us. So this is a very unique opportunity to get some amazing information firsthand. And good morning, Sheila. How are you feeling?
Doing better, and I apologize in advance because I've got a tickle this morning. There's a frog in the throat.
Got my water.
Yeah. Unfortunately, mine's downstairs on the table because getting ready to dash out to do a corporate lunch and learn teaching about calcium scoring today. So,
oh wow, that's amazing. Thank you.
Yeah. But thank you for taking out time this morning. So, I think where we left off the other day, we were talking about the connection between breast cancer, mammograms, and heart disease in women. If memory serves, we were kind of chatting about that.
Yeah, that's where we left
it. Pardon me. A Frenchman with a frog in their throat is just redundant, but we'll leave it at that. But anyway, so one of the things that I like to make sure that women know, and hopefully everybody's hearing me okay, in this country, in the U.S., we do about 37 million mammograms every year. That's a lot of mammograms. And that has come about, of course, because for the last 30 plus years, organizations committed to fighting and winning the fight against breast cancer has done a phenomenal job of raising awareness, educating women about breast cancer, teaching them how to do self-exams, teaching them about getting the mammograms accessible, covered by insurance. Now we have a basic mammogram that we can get as part of our Well Woman visit every year. And that took 30 years. I mean, that's like for me and you, that's most of our adult life. I mean, that's a lot of our adult life. And because of that, we've been able to see fewer women dying from breast cancer. Now, putting that in perspective when it comes to women's heart health, because February is National Heart Month, when you look at the number of women that we lose from breast cancer every year, it's around 42,000 women. When you look at the number of women that we're losing to cardiovascular disease, this is heart attacks, strokes, all of the cardiovascular diseases, we're losing over 400,000. And studies show that with the same awareness, education, early detection, early intervention, early treatment, better research for women, if we really paid attention to women's heart health, and not just women, but men too. But if we were as proactive when it comes to mammograms and colonoscopies as we are with our hearts, about half of those people could have been saved.
Wow.
Because 80% of heart disease is actually preventable or manageable. So we have every year in this country over 600,000 women and men dying from heart disease. They're dying from a largely preventable disease. But tying this back into a woman's overall health, because we do focus a lot on, breast cancer, understandably so. The other thing I want to make sure that women understand is that heart disease kills 6 times the number of women every year than all of the cancers combined, not just breast cancer, all of them.
Wow.
So combine them all, heart disease is still killing more women. But yet when I go out and I speak to large women's groups or even small women's groups, but whenever I speak to women and I say, health-wise, what scares you the most? To a person, they almost always say cancer, breast cancer. And when I share with them the statistics, their eyes get big and their jaws drop because they're like, how come I've never heard of this? How come people aren't telling me this? I should be looking at my heart. And I said, yeah, we should. So when we look at those mammograms, one of the things that we do, and we just did an event here in the York County area in South Carolina, which is, if you don't know, just south of Charlotte. We partnered with one of our reduced fee health clinics. They brought in a large mammogram bus. And what we did is we provided our women's heart health swag bags for the ladies, but in there was an education piece that talks to women about when they get their mammograms, and here's why. A study came out, I think it was April, about 2 years ago, that showed that women, I think it was pretty much women over the age of 50, so those of us menopause, postmenopause age, that those of us that went in for our mammogram, that they told us that we had calcification in our breast arteries, about 70% of those women also had it in their hearts.
Oh.
Think about it. It's all in the neighborhood, right? So if you're told by the radiologist, if you're told by your doctor that you have calcification in your breast arteries, the recommendation is you need to get a heart scan. You need to get the coronary calcium score. They need to look at the arteries in your heart because there's a really good chance if it's here, and this will kill you.
Wow.
So we want to get more women aware of that so that when they hear that, or they ask, because a lot of times this information, when studies come out, it takes a while for it to get through the circuits, to get through the journals, for everybody to get up on it, for people to change protocols. So what we do is educate women. You become your own best advocate. You educate yourself and you find that information so that when you get those mammograms, you say, do you see any calcification in my breast arteries? Because if you hear the words, you know what? And if you're over 55 and older, you need to consider getting a calcium scan just because of your age. If you're over the age of 40 and you have at least one risk factor for heart disease, which, by the way, is 90% of women in America, you need to consider having the calcium scan done just to make sure that everything going on inside of your heart is good. Now, in November, the American Heart Association and the American College of Cardiology released new guidelines. Those new guidelines include that when a doctor talks to you and said, you know what, we need to consider going on a statin, your next question should be, then I want to get a calcium scan. Because we have seen over and over again people with terrible cholesterol numbers, but their calcium score was 0, which meant they had a very low probability of a cardiac event in the next 5 to 10 years. And then we've seen people with great cholesterol numbers who had outrageous calcium scores who literally were within a year or two of a fatal cardiac event. So you can't just go by those numbers. Those numbers are step one. That is to get the conversation going. That is to get you back on track health-wise. But if you're over 40, you need to take that next step. If you're a woman at 55, a man of 45, you need to put that calcium scan on your schedule. And if you're a woman that they tell you that you have calcification in your breast arteries, you need to get the heart scan. The other thing women need to know, and I talked to a woman, we did a big heart health event here last night at the local hospital. And I had a woman come and talk to me, and she said, well, she just got over, she's getting over breast cancer treatments, the chemo, the radiation. My question to her was, have they talked to you about your heart health? Because unfortunately, as women survive breast cancer, their likelihood of developing heart disease goes up exponentially.
Oh, wow. Wow.
So they need to have those conversations and make sure that they are doing everything that they can to safeguard their heart health and to have those conversations. And unfortunately, she looked at me and she said, nobody's told me that yet. And I said, then you need to follow up with your doctor and you need to say, I have specific questions about my heart health. I understand that women that have survived breast cancer are at higher risk. What do I need to do?
Wow.
And so this all goes back to, Olga, of us educating ourselves, because unfortunately in today's healthcare environment, doctors get 5 minutes with us, 10 minutes with us. When do they have time to really sit down and talk with us and educate us? This is why grassroots like us exist.
Yeah.
This is why you and I have these conversations.
Right.
Because as women, if we don't get this information for ourselves, for our families, and for our communities, this is never going to change. It's just going to get worse. In fact, it is getting worse.
Right.
So we've got to take action. We've got to be the ones that pick up that mantle and say, just like we did with breast cancer 30 years ago, women deserve better. We deserve better health care. We deserve better research, better treatment, better options. And when we start doing that for heart health and we start taking responsibility for our own heart health, then we're going to start seeing those numbers change, but not until we as women take responsibility for ourselves and for our families and take action.
Exactly. Wow. Well, again, I am blown away. I know you're on the run, so I don't want to, you always deliver so much valuable information that you leave me speechless. We've got a few ladies that have stuck with us.
Oh, hi.
Yeah, Debbie, we're so happy to see you. And I think Amy, I'm not sure, is with us. Whoever's with us, do you have any questions that you want to type in there for Sheila? Any experiences in life, feel free to do that. Because
love to hear from survivors. And what I'll do as soon as I get back to the office this afternoon, I'll find a copy of that study on the breast cancer study and I'll post it at the bottom of this interview.
Perfect.
So that they can read it for themselves. I think it's important. You know, getting information for me is one thing, but I think it goes back to studying for yourself, reading it for yourself, knowing, having that at your disposal. So the next time you're talking to a loved one or you're talking to a woman and they bring up that subject, you can say, wait. And this is where our Red Heart Mamas come involved, because we want to take women and let them become the champions and the voice pieces for this movement. Because if we don't, you know, it's not going to go anywhere.
Exactly.
We've got to have women who will share with other women. And but if you have that information that you can say, hey, let me send you a link to this. You need to know about this. You need to talk to your doctor about this. Then that's how that's going to take hold.
We women are great at that, aren't we?
Hopefully so, yeah.
And Sheila and I met at the Charlotte Southern Women's Show.
We did.
Yeah. Are you going to the Savannah Southern Women's Show?
I haven't looked at that, but my brother lives in Savannah, so that would be a great excuse to go down and visit. When is it?
It's the end of March.
Oh, I don't have anything on my calendar for the end of March.
Yeah, I'm going to be down there. And
Awesome.
so I just remembered you're in South Carolina, so I thought I'd let you know. But you do
Thank you.
such an amazing job. You're always out there getting this message out.
I
And
tell you,
yeah,
and this platform is awesome because on a rainy day,
uh-huh.
you
Yes.
know, and I know that this will be replayed and reshared, and we'll reshare
Yes.
it on our pages.
Yes.
And but you know, for women that are busy at work that you know can't sneak away to watch this for a few minutes, they
Yeah.
can watch it at their leisure, at their opportunity while the kids are taking their baths. And
Exactly.
but the key message is here: share, share, share.
Yes.
Tag your friends. If this resonates with you, if you know of somebody that you're going, ooh, my Aunt Betty needs to hear this,
Yeah.
share it because that's how we're going to get the message out.
Yes, exactly. And so what I've been doing also is rewatching these and making notes and just uh, posting them as just tiny bits on Instagram and
Hmm.
other places because sometimes that's all a woman has time for. So whatever
Yeah.
works. Again, Sheila, I so appreciate you.
Oh,
And
thank you. You too.
yeah, and so as you get out there, please be safe. We don't want anything to happen to your precious self.
No,
Be
no, no.
safe. And ladies, we love you all. And until the next time, we thank you and wish you all a very blessed day.
Happy Heart Month.
Happy Heart Month. Bye bye.
Bye bye.